I want to introduce divine healing a little bit, and I also want to introduce myself, because some of you don't know me at all, and I don't know you at all, which is nice, it's fun, it's exciting. I started off my career as a medical doctor. I suppose I wanted to help people, which is the reason I became a doctor. However, as I was doing my studies in medicine, I also developed an interest in alternatives and in spiritual things. I used to read Plato and books about heroes and so on and so forth. And that grew and grew in me over the years. And then when I became a doctor, I realized what I really wanted to do was something a bit more alternative. And I thought for a while that I would be able to put the two together, be a GP and do some healing together. But then I realized also the system wasn't supportive of that, because in practice, a GP only has 10 minutes, 15 minutes at the most with the client, and there's not that much you can achieve really in that time if you're really going to do some deep work or some healing. So I took the jump. I was 28, Saturn return. I had no responsibilities at the time, and I leapt off the ledge and gave up medicine. And I had nothing else planned. I had no money saved, nothing. And I sort of did nothing for a month, and then some guidance came through very clearly that I was to do some spiritual healing work, which absolutely terrified me because I had no training. However, during while I was still a doctor, I had also been doing some healing workshops that I was attending, and during some of these, my channel started opening. So I knew I could open, and some kind of guide would come through me. But that was scary for me, and I didn't know what was going on. So luckily, I had a very nice partner at the time who was already a healer, so he sort of coached me through this transition of going from a 3D job to a more spiritual lifestyle where you're just following the flow of the energy. And in about a year and a half, I had a business running, doing healing. And that was in Ireland, in Dublin. And then I met Nicholas, and I decided to pack up and come here. So I've been doing healing work now for about 12 years. And all along, what I really wanted was to be able to not only heal people, but empower them to heal themselves. Because I think that's where it's at. If someone is really interested in personal development, it gets quite expensive going to healers and therapists for work. And ultimately, when you can work on yourself, it's that much more empowering. And also you can work on yourself when you need to, not in a week's time when you can get a session with someone. So for years, I was wanting this tool that I could teach people to empower themselves. And you probably know this, but when you're a healer, you learn all these different things, and eventually you use a mixture of everything you've learned. And I learned some very powerful techniques from a lady called Margaret Ruby, an American lady. And I loved her work, and I thought, this is it. It's called rapid healing. I could teach people this. When I approached her to learn it and to teach it, it wasn't going to work with my lifestyle because of having my little boy. So that didn't happen. And then, I suppose I was kind of ready, but the universe conspired that somehow I had this desire to create a healing tool that would empower others, and also two of my very best friends who are also healers. So it sort of came through the three of us together, and sort of got together and created, out of that, divine healing was born. What we call divine healing master. You call it divine healing for short, because it's a bit of a mouthful. And so the first manual was born, and we actually thought it was going to be just one manual, one And then it continued. More channeling came through the three different people in the group, and then a level 2 was born, and level 3 and a level 4. So there are 4 levels to this work, although each manual will stand on its own. It's like you can make a door with a hammer and a saw and a chisel. You can, yeah. But with each of the extra manuals, you get more tools. So you get maybe a plane and one of those T-square things on the second level, etc., etc. Just to give you a metaphor for it. So the first level is it's not like you're going to go home and say, oh, I can't use this on myself because I have to learn all the other. It's not like that at all. So it is a standalone in and of itself, and you will be able to use it and work on yourself. And it's a very, very simple work, which is based on the spiritual law that you ask and you receive. So you ask the universe, you ask the divine for something, and then it happens. So, but the problem is with healing is that we're not always aware of what it is we need to ask for. Because as humans, we're so complex. And many things are deeply buried in a place where it's kind of subconscious or unconscious. And so this is where the manual comes in, where the manual helps you to pinpoint, yes, this is what needs resolving, this is what needs uncovering, this is what needs revealing and releasing. And usually when you find it, you go, oh yes, of course. It becomes obvious and you can resonate with it. But for our conscious mind to go inside and go, oh yes, I've got a judgment around this and that's what's stopping my life. It's not always so easy to do that. So basically it's a very, very simple work. And you know, we're like onions, humans. We have an outer layer, and we have another layer, and another layer, and another layer, and another layer. And we're so complex and so multifaceted. And I suppose the whole idea of this work is that we want to make life better. We want to live better. We want to live more wholly, more completely, more fully, more totally. And that there can be things inside us that prevent that wholeness to emerge, that fullness of life, that fullness of joy and that feeling of liberation and freedom. So this is the point of this work, is that we can clear this very easily. And now there are these amazing tools which are available. I know this divine healing is not the only one. I often read the spiritual magazines and there are all these other tools. I'm like, wow, we're really in an age of grace now. All these amazing tools available to us. So I think I've spoken long enough now.